Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Skookum Session Roundtable. I know missed you guys last week. Glad to be back. Tonight we're being joined by the regular group plus a extra good extra gentleman here that I highly respect. We've got Mr. Travis Bowen from Blue Ridge Sasquatch, hell of a researcher. I just interviewed him on the other show. Great guy, knows his stuff. He's actually right around the corner for me, so hopefully we're planning to get on and get out together sometime soon. How's it going, Travis?
Oh, doing good. Thanks for having me.
No, our pleasure, man. Our pleasure. Next, of course, we have Mr. Don Gummo Jr. from the state of Maine. Don, how are you, sir?
Hey, Jeremiah. How you doing? Hey, Travis. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
I'm all right, man.
Hey.
It's
how you doing?
Pretty freaking crazy shit going on down here, but I love it.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, and Stacy got bit by a spider too, huh?
And a king snake, same day.
And a king snake, right? I can't forget the snake. It's the brown recluse that got me, though. Got me. Jeez.
Well, yeah, that's what it got. That got her too. But they, like they said, it didn't get her good. You know what I mean? But it was the bacteria from the king that they were worried about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I guess Travis, it was you telling me they carry salmonella sometimes.
Yeah, most of your non-venomous, about all your reptiles carry salmonella in the mouth and even on their skin.
Right.
So even a non-venomous bite can go septic, just from that salmonella.
Especially like for that scarlet king being a constrictor. Constrictors have dirty mouths, man.
Yep.
Dirty mouths. But anyway, Stu.
Hey, buddy.
Stu Hill once again. How are you doing, man? How's the UK?
The UK is okay. We're getting a little bit of freedom from tomorrow. Lockdown's easing up a little bit. So I'm going out. I'm going to the research area tomorrow. Be first time in 3 months. I've managed to be up there.
Nice. Bet you're looking forward to that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bags packed. Gears packed. Ready to go tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Is that the spot where you've had your stuff happen in the past?
Yeah, same spot. I'll be going to the same area in the same forest. Just a little scout around, see if anything's changed. See if there's any.
Hey, so Stu, you were locked down completely? You couldn't go out?
We could go out for supplies and groceries and traveling to work if you couldn't work from home, and that was it.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Kind of like New York State, my parents are in total lockdown up there.
We could exercise, but only in a local area, like, in your neighborhood, and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude.
Well,
who else?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
And who else we got on here?
Well, we have Mr. John Schweitzer. Men of all men. Jack of all trades. John, how's it going?
I'm just staying at home, man. I'm good. Buying a lot of stuff off eBay and Amazon.
I can just imagine.
Just to see a different face deliver. Yeah. Find out who's still alive and who's not. Got a great set of books that I've been trying to get for years, though. The Foxfire edition. I would tell anybody, you buy that whole edition. I used to be able to get it for $78. Now I'm lucky I got it for $178, something like that. Of course, there'll be somebody that'll go, "Oh man, I sold it to you. I could have got," But look into the Foxfire books, man. Early, simple living, and how to do it. Yeah, check them out.
Right.
But yeah, I'm good. Everybody's well here. Not a problem. Hey, something that's odd. I will say this real fast here about the Kavona. Yeah. what would you call that? The pregnancy pandemic, corona pregnancy pandemic. We're going to call all those kids in 9 months. We'll call them chronoliniums, maybe something like that.
Kind of like the millennials, and
yeah, that'll work. But no, what I was going to say is I've been doing my own little survey. You know, anytime I talk to somebody like paying a bill or something, you know, you always get somebody different. I would ask him. I said, "Do you know anybody?" And I'm being honest about this. I said, "Do you know anybody that you personally know that has this virus?" 95 to 97% of the time, I got no. They don't know of anybody, and we're talking at 10 people maybe a day, 50 a week, 200 a month. So the size of their friends and family, you guys know how many friends and family you got. So you figure that. Mm-hmm. And I've given 95, 97% of the time, I hear people say, no, they don't. Now, the other 3 to 5%, 30 people. 30 people have been mentioned. And out of that, 5 have died. Mm-hmm. And I only really know one that has, because it's a good friend of mine's friend. So anyway, other than that, we're all doing fine here. No temperatures, breathing good, putting in the garden. Frost came in last night, messed everything up. You know.
Oh yeah,
frost! I got 5 inches of snow.
Well, it was. Well, there you go. Well, we got 28 degrees night before last. 28 degrees, and it's up to 60 today. But that's Indiana. That's Indiana.
We got frosty in Virginia last night. I had to cover all my garden up.
Oh yeah.
And same thing. It's like 65 now.
Yeah. Same here, Travis. We had frost last night as well. You know.
Yeah.
For 75 degrees. That's like you said, North Carolina, Virginia, man. 10 minutes, weather will change.
Yeah, you can have all 4 seasons in 2 days.
You bet. Yeah, we may have to replant the sweet taters out here, but that's part of it, you know.
It hadn't even warmed up in Maine yet, so the trees are just barely budding.
Wow.
So it hasn't. We've had one day, 2 days in the 50s, nice days so far. I think we might have reached 60 one day. That was probably a month ago, and then it just got cool again. I've had a fire every night.
Yeah, we've had a couple of them too, but the department came and put them out. I mean, you just literally, you try and do a brush fire out here, and the fire department come and put them out. But it's not that late in spring yet either.
Right. Well, I have a fire in my house in the wood stove.
Yeah. We got a fireplace. I haven't done that this year though. But
I'm still burning wood. I'll be burning tonight. It's 40 degrees for the high today, 43 or something. It's cool.
Oh man. Wow.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
Makes you wonder how Bigfoot can stand it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't think he minds.
It's a job. We're gonna hit the tree.
I heard them out on the coldest night of the winter. They were out there, so I don't think it really bothers them.
Go check out, see if they're doing snow angels.
I went. Listen, I went looking for tracks, and I knew where they were. I heard them out there, and I went to the area, and there were no tracks anywhere I looked. And I started checking trees out, and I could find like a line of trees that had bark and bits and pieces of moss below it, where it was looking like they were jumping tree to tree.
That does not surprise me, man, at all.
And then every once in a while you'll get a stone wall that has melted. The top of it's melted, and they could easily just go down the wall.
Oh, sure.
But I heard them clearly out there, and they were out there screaming, and I went right to the spot. No tracks.
I've seen squirrels do that, jump from tree to tree and leave bark and moss on the ground. But hey.
Yeah. Now this is you can see about 10 feet.
Big squirrel.
Yeah, if you look 10 feet up on the tree, there you can see all the bark removed. It's the only way they can get around up there. But they can go to there's stone walls everywhere. And those things melt first.
Those moss rocks too,
Yeah, they'll have. You're right. There's things that stick out here and there.
Oh yeah.
But they're wise. They're wise to it. They know people go up there. They know I go up there.
Oh yeah.
But I just didn't understand them making all that noise that night. They were screaming. It was crazy. They were making noise and giving away their location. And there was snow. There was 2 feet of snow on the ground. And I said, why are they doing that? Telling me where they are.
Yeah.
Didn't matter.
Didn't hear, man.
It didn't matter. I went up there and I heard them. I've got a recording of going up there, and I looked all through the area. I could hear them, and they were going off. And then when I went up there, it just stopped, and I couldn't find any tracks anywhere.
Wow.
But I mean, there's so much woods up there and trees. They could get out of there easily.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just by hitting the stone walls, a couple trees here and there. Yeah, I absolutely believe they're using the trees to go between either the walls or someplace they can go.
Yeah.
But with fresh snow, there was 2 feet of snow that was fresh. And I said, geez, I couldn't find anything. But that bark, you could see a line of trees that had heavy bark and moss below them and twigs and stuff. And you could just almost see a line going through the trees.
Interesting. Well, Stu, you want to lead this off, brother?
Yeah, I'd like to have a little bit of a grumble tonight.
Okay.
I don't
know
how
you want, brother.
Say again, Jeremiah?
I said grumble all you want.
Well, I don't know how you guys feel about it when what a question about the evidence that we share. Yeah. We're all grown-ups. We're all free to share what we want and what we don't want. But what gets me is when we're expected to share everything we find. And it really gets to me when it can get quite aggressive where people demand, they demand to see your private photos, your private research photos.
Yeah, right.
Demand to know what area you're in, and
Yep.
I don't think it's right. Not everybody wants to share everything for many reasons, but I don't see why people should expect it and why we should, we as researchers should feel pressured to share everything. Some things are better kept private or shared between trusted fellow researchers.
A group, a small group, yeah, for sure.
Yep.
No, I understand exactly because I learned not to share so much.
Yeah.
I definitely don't talk. I mentioned bits here and there, but I'll never ever talk location.
Never.
And if I do talk about it, I say it's I'll say one location, but I'll never give up their location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say
not exact location. No.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy enough to come around, and they know people can easily find me anyway. If they look.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just talk about things happening in a certain place, and I just never mention the other places.
Right.
I don't mention the name of my area. I'll say it's in Northumberland, UK, but that's as far as I'll go.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I just say they're everywhere because it's really
they
true.
Are.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
They are.
Around here, in some areas, it's kind of crazy how many different groups are in a small area.
Yep. That's for sure. Travis, what are your thoughts?
What's my thoughts?
Yep.
Well, I'm with Stu on that completely. I've had people say, you need to show some proof about what you're saying and doing. And so, no, I don't need to show some proof about it because I know we as a group, if you're going to do anything that's serious, if you're going to do, any kind of investigation, I am not going to put the stuff on YouTube. I'm going to bring it to you guys and let you guys see it. And that's just the best bang for your buck. Actually, there's too many people out there. Let's see your proof. Well, let's see your proof.
Exactly.
I got hit the other day with some guy bragging about he's the most prolific Bigfoot investigator in such and such a state, and he opened up this big track of stuff and this, that, and the other. Anybody that's on there that has to talk themselves up or brag about themselves, there's a problem. That problem is they're doing exactly that. It's like, well, shoot, I never heard of the guy. He might be somebody, but I know what I've done. I know what I've encountered. I don't have to brag about it. Just tell you guys about it. That's what's important, And if we find something, we find it. Jeremiah, I mean, the stuff you're doing right there, you're putting an awful lot of prints and so forth out there for people to see, and it's like, okay.
That's about but John, that's about an eighth of it.
Yeah.
And the only reason I do it is because I do like to keep my group involved somewhat.
That's it. Exactly. And I certainly do get that. Yeah.
But I do not show the real detailed stuff. I do not show what I show you guys.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I in the time that I've been doing this, since probably about 1968, I mean, I've been interested in Bigfoot ever since Patterson and Gimlin tape, right? And I've only had probably in that time footprints. Like I said before, I think I saw something looking at me. Of course, someone will go, "Oh, well, you think you did. That's not." Well, what I saw looking at me, it's only one thing it could have been, and then vocalization. But a couple, some tree structures, which I just blow my nose at them, because that could be anything,
like we always say, there's, I personally think 95% of it can be explained, naturally. But then there is that 5% that's interesting.
Oh yeah.
But
that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
There's too many people that want it. Their 15 minutes of fame and glory and the money that they can make off of it. And the only thing they're going to do if you show your proof is they can steal your photographs and call it theirs, which I have heard done several times with, the Sierra Sounds.
Yeah.
I've heard people try and claim some of that stuff as their own.
Yeah.
For sure. Anyway, there you go.
There we have it.
Story, and I'm
grabbing for you out.
Well, for me, my spot where I go, I treat it just like I do places I hunt, fish. I keep it quiet. It's mine.
Right.
And the biggest reason for me being, I don't want thrill seekers or morons out there stomping around the woods, hollering and whooping, and I'm lucky if they're there when I go to start with. Right. I don't want people putting pressure on them. They'll leave. I mean, it's just real simple. You go to messing with them too much, I'm like, all right, we'll just move on out of here.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, Travis. Yep, exactly. If you mention, if people know where you're researching, people will go and they'll make assholes of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Exactly. I take a very, very few people there, and they're, they're trusted people, and they're quiet, low profile. Right. Me and actually a friend of mine went out last weekend. He's a retired Marine. He's from Texas, had a sighting in high school. It's the only time he's ever seen one. It was like 27 years ago, and that just burned in his brain. So, but, we went out, he's experienced, he's quiet, no BS. He just, that's the kind of people I like to go out with. I mean, I don't need to one every, like you say, every time you turn around, oh, look at that. Oh, that rock, look at that rock. It's not sitting right, I don't need that.
I talked about stuff going on here. I didn't give a location, but somehow the county, I think the county I lived in got mentioned. I might have mentioned the county, I think it was. So anyway, the state police turned around a van full of guys coming up to Maine from Connecticut. And they were going to Waldo, I think they said. And they got the town wrong anyway. But they were going somewhere to kill a Bigfoot living in a cave. And I had just done a podcast talking about a Bigfoot running in the cave back 60 years ago, 70 years ago. But they turned him around. The state police turned him around and sent him home.
Huh.
So you do have to be careful. I noticed it around here. You know, I've had people coming around here trying to find the place. You can just tell when there's more traffic around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I live in a town of, 1,000 or less. So
yeah,
there's only a couple of cars. But yeah, I've learned just to keep it quiet, just let my neighbors know what's going on, because they run into them. I've recorded an encounter last year. One of my neighbors ran into one of these things. You could hear it doing that hyena cackle they do, and then it gave one of those deep, raspy screams at somebody. I could hear two guys yelling back and forth, and you could hear this thing screaming at them. So somebody, and I went around asking, but I haven't found who had the encounter yet, or nobody wants to talk to me about it.
Right. It's hard. It's hard to get people to open up about it,
Yeah, just locals know, and, everybody around here knows me.
Yeah.
But things of, I don't even stick around here to do research. I have to take a walk, and I'm actually getting too old to keep taking that walk. It's a long walk.
Right.
So right. I don't go out there all that much anymore. And every once in a while I'll hear them, but, they stick away. They stay away. I noticed when I stopped trying to find their tracks and stopped researching them, following them around, basically, they stopped, because I really let up on the research the last 2 years, and they totally stay out of this area now. So they changed, you know what I mean? Like, it was because I was going out there looking, and I was out there all the time, so they were hanging around. But the last couple of years, I haven't gone out there, not as much. I've only been out there like a handful of times in 2 years, and they're still out there. But yeah, they are. I noticed when I was looking for them, they would come around here more, watching me more. And when I stopped looking for them, they're not here watching me so much anymore. You can just tell. It's a different vibe when you go outside,
It is.
Yeah, there'll be coyotes, there'll be deer in the yard and stuff,
Yeah, the deer definitely. We actually, Travis, we talked about that in earnings, didn't we? With the deer seeing us less of the two evils.
Yeah.
How they'll come closer to your,
right.
stand or.
But I get all the animals. I used to get all the animals that live up on the hill. They'd come down near the house.
Right.
The grouse. Yeah, the grouse, the turkeys, the deer. Yeah, the deer would bed down in my garden, which is less than 100 feet from my front door.
Right.
Yeah, they'd be right there every morning. That's when I knew they were up on the hill.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you remember. Jesus, who was it? Sean and Sean interviewed. Remember our old friend from Northern California, the heavy machine operator who travels around the world and takes jobs. You know what I'm talking about, Don?
Yeah, I know who you. Yeah.
Okay. They had a doe. With all this activity was going on, she walked right into the middle of their driveway and gave birth to a fawn.
Yeah, that's I had a deer give birth right behind my house about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Right up against my foundation.
Yep.
Right in the back.
What's that tell you? I mean.
Right. Well, somebody told me they do that a lot around here. Well, this was their explanation of it when I was talking to my neighbors about it. They said, they usually come up behind barns, chicken barns or whatever, the horses, and they'll calf out there because the smell of the afterbirth and the newborn gets mixed in with the smell of the house and the barn, and the coyotes can't smell it. They can't track it down.
Okay, I guess that would make sense in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, but now I would, I don't know.
Well, a newborn deer doesn't have a smell for about a week.
Okay.
Like absolutely no, they have absolutely no smell. They don't put off a pheromone scent, anything for about a week.
That's right. Yep,
yeah, I think they
that.
said the afterbirth is what I was told back then.
Yeah, no, the afterbirth definitely, definitely have a smell. So they will not hang around that birthing location long at all. As soon as that fawn can move, they're gone.
Right, and she was gone. I had a dog that was, couldn't quite reach him, but she knew they were there. And I just turned around and watched them. I saw her out there calving out, and I just left her alone. And they were gone. When I went back to check them, they were gone. And it wasn't all that long. But, yeah, I just covered up what was there.
Wow.
But that's funny how they come in. I've heard that it happens up here a lot. They'll come right in behind a barn or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the year back in 2016 when Stacy and I were living at our area up north. I mean the deer would come within feet of the camper, and I truly believe it's because they saw us as the lesser two evils. I really do.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I really do. With a Sasquatch, they know they're screwed, blued, and tattooed. But with at least with a human, they may run into one that's anti-kill deer. They won't kill a deer. Or, they know they at least stand somewhat of a chance. But Sasquatch, they know they're going out in a brutal way. That's for sure. Not a 30 out of 6 round to the cerebral cortex or the heart. It's their neck wrapped around in a 360-degree circle.
Yeah.
Well, that's like my friend out in Minnesota. They had the mule deer coming to camp at night. They're sitting there around the fire talking. They just ate, and 3 mule deer does came into the camp, literally within feet of them, and were standing there looking across the river. And he said, of course, they're looking at each other like, what in the hell? And heard what he described as like a mouth pop from across the river.
There you go, Don.
So those mule deer, I guess they figured, hey, we'll walk up in the camp with them 2 guys, and maybe we'll make it through the night. They stayed till first light.
Oh, no kidding.
The deer did not move. They did not leave that camp until the sun started coming up.
Wow.
So, and I mean, of course, they do hunt in Minnesota. They hunt mule deer, but I guess they figured they'd take their chances.
Yeah,
right. That's the thing. Take your chances with a human rather than a Sasquatch.
Yeah, I had 4 run up to me when I was picking mushrooms, and 4 ran right up and hung around me for about a minute, and then just slowly walked off. They just stood there. Kind of freaked me out. I thought they were going to run me over.
Don.
Was
this sure were the deer really there? You mentioned picking mushrooms.
Yeah. No, I was just picking the mushrooms.
I just
I get a lot of chanterelles and porcinis up here. Sweet tooth too. Yeah, this year they that was odd about the mushrooms. They would always take the mushrooms. I'd find a big area of mushrooms, and I'd clean a bunch of them off. They'd be coming up through pine needles or whatever. I'd clean about half dozen of them off, and then I'd come back the next day when they were a little bit bigger. I'd come back the next day, and every single one I cleaned off would be picked, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, what was going on? This would happen to me every year in the same area, other mushrooms too. And then once I realized the creatures were out in that area, I was wondering if it was them doing it. And then this year, I found a big area of sweet tooth mushrooms out there. And I picked about 5 or 6 of them. And I left one big abnormally deformed one in the middle. It was huge. It was probably about 10 inches tall, nice, thick. Sweet tooth mushrooms have the consistency of like cheese. They're thick, they're heavy. So I come back the next day to see I was going to grab a couple more mushrooms, and that big one that I left was now half gone and eaten. And I got pictures of it. I sent them to you, Jeremiah. There's like, it looks like human teeth took a bite, like the last bite out of it.
Did match the marks that were in that bone?
What's up?
When we found the bone up there that day, when I was up there,
right?
They matched. They kind of, in a way, they matched those dental impressions.
Yeah, I've got a couple pictures that, if you really look at on the bones, you can see molars, imprints of molars in there. I've got some pretty good teeth impressions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But there's no sharp teeth at all. They're all flat teeth. That's the crazy thing. And in that mushroom, but this was the first time they ever left anything. Like all the other times, they always took the mushrooms. This time, they left half that mushroom, and with teeth prints clearly in it.
Clearly,
I don't know what the leaving the mushroom thing was, but I don't know.
Huh, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Maybe they weren't in the mood to eat a shroom. I guess.
They do that. I don't know. It's odd what they do with food and stuff. Like if you leave food out, they always seem to share it back with you. You know.
Yeah. Well, I told you guys what I did recently with that can of cat food. I put that can of cat food out and stuff that blocked it off with the big rock and jammed some sticks in between, make it nice and tight. And it was one of the pry-off tops, and I went back checking the next day. It still hadn't been touched. Next day I went back, and you could tell everything had moved. The rocks moved out of the way. I pulled everything out of the way, and that can of cat food had been opened, pried off, and I good. I'm like, something got into this, and I'm looking for the top, and it's like 3 feet to my right, and there's the top. It had been pried off.
Sorry, Jeremiah. Something opened the can, though, right?
The can, yeah. The top of the can was about 3 feet next to me. Then
Jeremiah, you better mention the fact that it was one of those pull tab cans, something with fingers and thumbs, and to pull it off.
Absolutely, and half of it was gone. And then to my left, I find a stick that had remnants of cat food all over it, and half of the well, not half of it, but close to the end of the stick, it was kind of like it had been chewed on a little bit. So it's almost like they were using it to scoop out the cat food. Yeah, very weird. They didn't finish the whole thing. Then they put it back.
Yeah, that's crazy. They put it back.
They put it right back. And then I checked it the next day, and it was absolutely rancid. So I don't blame them for not going back for it again.
When they put it back, Jeremiah, remember mentioned you had that cat food back underneath what looked like a concrete building abutment, the kind that they are actually looked like the foundation of the bridge. It was undercut, and you put stone and wood in there.
Yes.
Right, and then you put that, but they put the stone and wood right back afterwards.
Right back, but I could tell it had been messed with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could tell it had been messed with, and when I pulled everything apart, when I pulled everything back, that can was in there, man.
That's it. That's important. Yeah, that's important because that took intelligence to do that.
It did. I've got the video. I think I sent it to you guys. Don, I know did I send it to you, Stu?
You did, yeah, buddy.
Travis, I sent it to you yet?
Oh, no, you hadn't sent it to me.
Okay, I'll send it to you. Don, I sent it to you, I believe.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Well,
they do funny things with. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, a friend of mine, a few years ago, he had 5 chickens taken out of a chicken coop he had built himself that had a hinged door that had a slide and lock bolt, and it had been unbolted open. 5 of the 6 chickens taken, the one chicken left's head was literally just crushed, like you just grabbed it with your hand and just crushed its head, and it was latched back shut.
Jeez.
What's that sound like, Don?
Yeah.
We had Don and I interviewed a guy, law enforcement gentleman.
That's crazy, though.
He had the same type of mechanism where you would have taken hand, to open it. And he was, how many was he missing, Don? Was it 13?
Yeah, I forget, right.
They found in the field and they couldn't find the rest of them.
See, that's crazy. Like, they left one in that other one there. Would they take 5 in that other one you said?
They took 5, yeah. They took 5 and left one with his head crushed.
Yeah, see, I wonder if
that... and latched it back.
Right. See, I wonder if that's the one that they share with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It is crazy, though.
It is.
Yeah, and I mean, and this gentleman, he was nowhere near anything to do with Bigfoot, interested, research, anything. Didn't even believe in it.
Right.
And he had that happen. They found a footprint on the creek bed behind the house. It was 16 inches long. You could see all 5 toes. It was a great print.
Yeah.
Right.
And he never had anything else happen. That was it.
Wow. That's crazy. That same thing happened about a year ago. A guy wasn't quite a believer, found the print in the morning, and I got one picture of it before the snow melted. It was the last snow of the year, and it was about 16 inches. But he told me he had chickens missing, and he's got a totally caged-in chicken coop.
Yeah.
It was and he had a latch on the door with a lock. He didn't always lock it all the time, but he always spun the lock and made it look like it was locked. But he said he thought it was his neighbor coming over and grabbing a chicken every once in a while. He couldn't figure it out. Now, I went around his place after he showed me that where the prints were, and I found big cat tracks out around his chicken coop. Right. So it may have been a cat, but I couldn't find a way in at all. He had it pretty closed up tight. Unfortunately, he passed away about a year ago, but he didn't believe. Well, he wasn't sure. He was on the fence before that. And then his daughter's boyfriend, the same night or later on that same day, 2 towns away, they go out for a walk. They find a set of tracks, and they said it smelled as they walked up to the area. It smelled like a locker room, is what they said.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I got a couple pictures of either one, but they were several miles away.
Well, I grew up on a farm. We kept around 50 laying hens at a time. And anytime anything ever got one of our chickens, you'd find that chicken not far away. What was left, something would catch. If something got into the chicken house at night, first of all, you'd figure out how it got in. Exactly. There was going to be a hole, dug in something. But you would always find the remains of that chicken nearby. It would just go to the nearest thick bushes or woods, whatever, and eat it.
Yeah.
We never had them just disappear.
Right. And that's what our guy at North said. They found them in the field. Didn't they, Don? John found them in the field after what was left of them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. And you know what's crazy about that latch is the creature would have had to have been there watching how he did it at some point before that.
Yeah, you got to learn it.
Yeah, yes, I can see what you're saying, but then again, if we're talking about how,
well, if they're that efficient at it, I think he would have had to watch them.
I will tell you this. I saw a video recently of a crow. They put
with the sticks.
Yeah, I mean they actually make tools. So if a crow's smart enough to do that, I have no doubt they're smart enough to figure out a latch.
Yeah.
And once they figure out one, they'll figure out all of them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. I've sat right here and watched a raccoon steal the suet right out of the suet cage. Walk up there, figured it out. I didn't see him do it the first time. I don't know how long it took him, but I've seen him do it once. Maybe it was the second or third time. But yeah, Yeah, I give them protein bars now, but hey, throw some big ass raccoons, you know.
Yeah, I saw one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. About 2 weeks ago, I think I told Jeremiah, I heard my cat outside. I went to go let the cat in. I go outside. The cat's just sitting there, looking to my right. And I'm calling the cat in. It wouldn't take its eye off something. And I look out and I see a raccoon standing on two legs, leaning against my car, looking right at me. And I went, what the heck? What it was doing was sniffing in my trunk. But when I opened the door, it turned sideways. And that's just when I looked at it. And there's a raccoon just like on two legs, leaning against my car, hanging out.
Wow.
Don't leave your keys. Don't leave your keys in the car, dude. They got opposable thumbs. I mean,
yeah, they did.
You ever seen
I keep my suet cake. I actually have suet cakes in there for my bird feeder. They're in my trunk, so that's what he was sniffing.
Yeah. They can choke a chicken. You ever see a raccoon choking a chicken?
Yeah, they get him in like a wrestling hold.
The right term you wanted to use is choking the chicken.
Yeah. There's one meaning to that, guys. Come on
now. Anyway, sorry. You know that was coming. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry. That's the 13-year-old coming out in me.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I guess they would figure it out, eventually, and then to lock it back up when they leave. I mean, what's up with that?
Yeah, that's
They don't want the chickens to get out, but that's food.
Right. That's just to mess with the humans.
Yeah. That's like, hey, what, you want to see this? Well, hey, I got one. Let's just do this and see what these humans think about it.
Right.
That's all it is. Freaking tricky.
Now there was we heard a story about a friend in Texas there about the guy that went out and it looked like he grabbed a 2x4 and went after the creature. He was trying to take his chickens. And the wife said he never got back in. And the next day he called the cops. They went looking for him, and he was up on the roof of the barn with his neck twisted around.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know the story you're talking about. And then
there's a lot of aggressive ones down in Texas area.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's the other one that we heard from the same individual that
the fishing. Yeah.
Well, no, not that too. The guy was watering his garden.
Oh yeah.
And one it wanders into his garden. Okay, and guy sprays it with the hose. And he said, "Well, what the hell did it do when it sprayed you? When you sprayed it with the hose?" He said, "Well, what the hell you think it did?" He got pissed off, walked away. So 2 months later, he wakes up to the scent. Okay, this thing was standing at the foot of his bed, and he said it was the scent that woke him up, and he bit this guy's finger all the way down to the knuckle. And point being, and then it urinated all over this guy's walls, and it was an oily. The way he described it was an oily type substance, not a watery urine, but like a very oily type. Well, I mean, was it urine or something else? But anyway.
Yeah, it was just.
But here's the thing, though. What's that tell us? Do you think actually, do they when someone does something to one of these things, do they sit back and contemplate for a long time?
I think they do. If it took 2 months, I think what would have got the doggone point across to that guy is if he'd have woke up to that smell, and there stands that frickin' creature at the end of his bed with the water hose. Yeah,
that definitely would have probably freaked him out.
I don't think they forget anything.
No, they don't. There's no way. Yeah.
If you shoot at one, you've got an enemy for life, or his life.
Well, how do you make friends without playing a flute? I mean, come on,
Yeah.
We got Don and I interviewed a native gentleman. Actually, it's Big Chris, one that passed away, but he was a great guy, hell of a researcher. He gave Don and I some great information. How'd it go, Don? It was back in the 30s, right?
Which 40s. One?
The guy, it threw him against the tree, and then.
Yeah, wasn't that? I don't know how. I thought he knew the guy, didn't he?
He
was out hunting.
Yeah.
And he heard, something coming up behind him. And I turned around quick with the gun and pointed the gun right at one of these creatures. And he just took the gun down and walked away, went home, I think. And then what was a couple weeks later?
Yeah. A couple weeks later, that's when he threw him against the tree.
Yeah.
And looked right in his eyes. And the guy said the only way I can describe this look was don't come back here.
Yeah, it was beating on him with those monkey pounds. The monkey fist coming down on him.
The hammer fist, yeah.
The hammer fist, yeah. Broke some ribs, I think, didn't it? Break a couple bones and
it did.
Yep.
Yeah, and then and the guy just said, "Hey, I'm sorry." That's what he was saying. I'm sorry. And it finally stopped and just walked away.
But these stories we heard from him were very were very credible. I mean, they don't really very they very, very interesting stuff. And this is
all on reservation too, I think, right?
Yeah, it was on the northernmost Mohawk reservation there is.
Yeah.
Up in northern Ontario. Yeah. Up in northern Ontario. That's where they had kind of an incident where, like in Monster Quest up in Ontario, this thing took it ripped the door off the hinges and it was an old wood stove, right, Don?
Yeah.
Wood stove. What would those weigh?
Yeah, a couple 100 pounds.
Yeah. Depending on the size, 200-300 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, it launched this freaking thing right through the door, right through the wall like a torpedo. And people said, "Oh, it was a bear." No. It was a bear. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. So, that was way up in Ontario or something, right?
Sudbury. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is about 14 to 17 hours north of the Adirondack. Way up there.
Right. Yeah, I don't. When I go out, ever since I realized they were out there in the woods, I don't go target shooting anymore out there.
Right.
They know I have a gun with me, but I totally stopped all my target shooting. Because I realized that one day I was target shooting. I always would yell out up the hill, "Is anybody out there? I'm shooting." And I didn't get any reply. And I took the first shot, and this happened 10, 15 years ago. I saw a flat back, a big black back, running on the other side of a stone wall.
Right.
And I assumed it was a bear, but it always bothered me that it was flat. Like it didn't look like a bear.
Right.
But I never thought creature. Well, I kind of knew there was something funny going on out there. I just didn't think about it back then.
Saying it was on all fours.
Yeah, but I think about it now. I was shooting up towards where they go. And I don't go out there target shooting anymore. I do it from my window. I just open a window and shoot now. Keep it close to the house.
Right.
No, I just step out. I do it all like right here.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't go out in the woods and do it like I used to. Because I used to just walk out there with a gun and then once I'd get out there, I'd just unload my rounds at whatever, pick a target,
Right.
And now I think about that. That's how they used to see me out there, So I can see why they were testing me in the beginning.
Sure. And that's kind of what I think they're doing to me right now, testing me a little bit. I'm going to react to things. Travis, Stu, wrote for both of you. Do you guys hear? I know you probably do, Travis. Do you guys hear about a lot of them on all fours?
About what? I'm sorry.
On all fours. Them getting on all fours.
I have heard people talk about them actually breaking down to run on all fours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that came in on me and Mom and my daughter 4 years ago, when he I only saw him for a split second in the light, but I don't know that it didn't go down on all fours, because he actually, as he turned to run, it's like he dove, almost like he dove out of the light.
Yeah.
And he was moving. So I don't know that I didn't see it on all fours, but it seemed like that's where it was going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they can run a lot quieter, more silent.
Yeah.
Running on all fours.
I think they can run faster on all fours too, to be honest with
you. Over here, we get a lot of witness reports where it's standing and then it just drops.
Yes.
You know, it just drops flat. And then
it's like an army call, kind of.
Yeah. You know, it's just there, and then people see it drop, and then that's it. You know, so I don't know if they're dropping and running all fours, or whether they're dropping and belly crawling away. I don't know.
Well, physiologically, they can do anything that we can do as far as our motion goes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not far from imagining. I've seen people running on all fours, but they have to train to do that. And of course, our arms are not long enough, and our shoulders. You've seen that one girl that they kind of, I don't know, they made her an exhibition pretty much on YouTube. The girl that wants to run on all fours. I mean, that's kind of like a gymnastic thing. That's not proof. But
Well,
why can't they?
I've seen videos of feral children. On a rare occasion, have been raised, grown up with wild dogs or whatever.
Oh, like third countries type deal.
Yeah, and I've actually seen videos of them. They would walk and run on all fours because they thought they were a dog. I mean,
and there's a country too. I think, John, you would know this. There's a country. I think it's in somewhere outside of Tibet, and these people walk. They walk on all. Not. I don't want to say.
They have a condition though, right?
It's a condition. It's a condition. Yeah. A condition.
Is that I remember seeing one where they were doing a documentary, and of course it could have been staged, but before the documentary was over, one of them started walking upright to be like the human beings. Mm-hmm. Of course, the thing about it was they were dressed like human beings, just like you or I, except they come into, and there they are, walking around on all fours. Now, to me, that would be back problems. Buddy, I've got back problems. And to me, that would be major back problems. But who knows? Who knows? I don't know,
And shoulder issues, too.
I mean, me personally, I've actually done this hunting. I've spider crawled for a pretty good ways.
Oh yeah.
Just on my hands and boot tips, I can't do it real fast, but I can actually go a long ways like that myself. Yeah. And I don't really practice it, but
that's like crab crawling. We used to do that in phys ed. You basically you're in sitting position. You come up on your hands and feet, and you can really book going backwards, but you can't see where you're going. But I've crawled hunting. I was never successful at it. I never got anything when I crawled up on it. But I've done that before. Yeah. It's just they can do anything that we could do. They could mimic anything physically that we could do. Their arms are just longer, and that would facilitate them being able to run on all fours.
Yeah. The only difference, between, you see a chimp on all fours, it's got kind of more of like that slope back, where, you can see these things have more of a flat back,
Yeah.
Right. If that makes sense.
There's many reports of these things doing a crab walk.
Yeah. Well, that night Kelly and I were up there hunting, and we saw that set of eyes right on the ground, and it was crawling. It was army crawling, and that's the night I called Will, and I said, Jesus, I think just around the next day. He says, well, I think you just interrupted a hunt. You better get the hell out of there pretty quick. And they paced us out. They made sure we were out of there. This is after they, we had lived down there for a while, and they still wanted us gone. They did not want that hunt interrupted. That's for sure. They do not like.
Yeah.
It very well could have, that night, the other night they had those boulders thrown and that they got flanked. That could have been what was going on as well. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
It's open for study.
It is. And I'm gonna keep studying. That's for sure. That's for friggin' sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say I interrupted that hunt on my first the day the Patriots beat the Seahawks with the Malcolm Butler interception. It was that day, that morning. That's what I remember from that day. But the thing was laying down in the snow, had himself covered in snow, and I walked between him and the deer. And as soon as I got close enough, the thing blew out of the snow and took off into the woods, and the deer took off. But it all happened so quick that, I just saw like a big curl of snow in the air. Like as the thing, it looked like it scooped snow up in the air and flung it purposely in the air. Because there was snow everywhere. It obscured my view of him going into the woods. But then as I left that area, he was whistling at me. And I couldn't figure out that whistle. He went crazy with the whistle. He just kept whistling at me.
He might have been whistling at another one.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought he was warning another one that I was leaving or something, but I don't know. I was leaving the area. I could see where I was going. I don't know if there was one out that way. It didn't seem like there'd be one there. It could have been. But I had come in that way and nothing, there was no noise and no nothing. I walked in just fine, no noise, no nothing. Then once I got to the end of the area, that's when he blew out of the snow. And I looked around a little bit. I found his tracks. I found out where he had run right through the area. So 2 girls posted on Facebook that they went out to visit a friend's grave. And on their way out, the thing ran right in front of them, right across the cemetery. They freaked out. They don't even want to talk about it to this day. We had to get a hold of their parents to find out where it happened. But I went out like 2 days later. As I walked beyond those tracks is where the creature came out. But it was the whistling that got me. I was going, Jesus, is he calling me back? That's what I thought he was doing, trying to get my attention to come back because I had screwed up his hunt. He was still hungry.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's hard to say. It really is. It really is.
Yeah. Well, now.
Yeah.
I had some stories told to me when I was in high school, and this was, friends of mine that I hunted with. Their daddy, he's worked for my daddy for 30-something years now. Actually, almost 40 years now. He was on his way out, been deer hunting in the evening on his way back to his truck. It was dark. He was walking with a flashlight. And he said something whistled at him. And, I'm sure the way we do it, we'll whistle. Like we're hunting and we hear each other coming in the dark. We'll whistle at each other to get each other, Anyway, he assumed maybe it was somebody else down there and he didn't know it. So he whistled back. It whistled back. He whistled back. He shined the flashlight over and caught eye shine that he said just was really, really tall and really big. And it turned its head away and that's how he couldn't see it. So he just kept on walking and it actually followed him, paced him most of the way back to his truck, but that was it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
just followed him out of there, huh?
Yeah, and that area, there was actually several different stories that come out of that area back in the late 80s through the 90s, different people. Nothing, it was never anything aggressive. It was just like a curious kind of thing. I heard of at least 3 daytime sightings of it. Nobody would call it Bigfoot because people don't talk about Bigfoot around here really.
Right.
They was just calling it they called it a hairy wild man. Said he was gray.
Yeah. He was gray?
Gray. Completely gray.
Interesting. Interesting.
I remember
that seems to be the more common color. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Stu. I was going to say gray seems to be the common color now. It used to be red. I mean, you still get a lot of reds, but more gray than anything now. Is what I get.
Or like a brown, grayish, highlight.
The one I hit with the light that night, it was like a dirty blonde, almost like a light colored golden retriever.
That's rare. I haven't heard a lot of that, to be honest with you. That blonde color. No,
I think that juvenile up here is a light color. The one that kind of cloaked out. That one, it's. I hate to say it, but there was somebody that put up videos with creatures that he caught, and people think they're puppets. But the blonde one there is very close to what I saw.
Yeah. Okay.
Not the face. You know what I mean?
The
face, just the color of the hair, and it was more dirty. It wasn't as yellow or blonde.
Right.
But it happened so quick. I didn't really have time.
Right.
But it's definitely a lighter color than the big male, because he's either. Well, I think he's gray. He just looked black to me when he was in the shadows.
So it would look like a dirty blonde.
Like a dirty blonde, yeah.
That's exactly how I would describe the one I saw was dirty blonde. I mean, if I said a girl had dirty blonde hair,
that's it. Yeah.
That's about what I saw. It seemed to puff all over. Well, he's the young one, so he seemed to have a good full head, but I didn't really see much in the face. It all happened so quick.
Well, the one I saw, by the time I hit it with the light, all I saw was like the back, shoulder, hip, leg, forearm. I mean, he was already turned. He was getting out of that quick. I just swept with the LED tack light that was on my rifle because I could hear and knew that it had gotten way too close.
Mm-hmm.
It was 20 yards, a little less. I mean, it was close.
Yeah.
But I swept with my light. I actually swept left to right, and I hit him at the end of my sweep, and he was already turned. He was getting out of there.
Travis, did you notice him like when he moved? It was quicker than a human.
Oh, it was unreal. I mean,
just the way when they turn.
Fast as I swept with that light, because I did it quick. I mean, like I was taking my time looking. I was just doing a real quick sweep. I don't believe a person could have turned and got out of there. No way, as just fast as what it did.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Is that initial movement they do is so quick.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
Yeah. I mean, it was just absolutely impressive to me. The whole encounter from beginning to end was fairly quick, but how it got that close that fast, I had an IR night vision scope on my rifle, and it managed to stay out of that IR the whole time. I could hear the thing walking and could not get it in that scope. I mean, it knew to stay out of that IR light.
Right.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that it's like a flashlight to them.
I do too.
Yeah. I don't doubt it a bit.
I do too. Yep.
So you had no aggression at all, Travis?
No. It was. I'm assuming it already knew we were there. I wasn't there for Bigfoot. I had actually. It's an old slave cemetery. It's pre-Civil War slave cemetery. It's old plantation land. And my mom and my daughter wanted to go there that evening just because they like spooky stuff, whatever. Just get out. And we had been there we'd probably been there for 45 minutes. And right at dark, it was my mama's idea to do a tree knock. The reason being, me and some buddies was up there hunting the fall before and had heard a tree knock and a whoop. I'm talking about a textbook whoop.
Right.
And anyway, so I had never tried. It was like whatever. So I did some knocks, and I got knocks back from way down across the creek. I knocked again, and the next three, it was 3 knocks. The next 3 were maybe 100 yards down the hill. I mean, it was like right there. So that one had to have already been that close. I think it was probably there. Either I don't think it could see us or not, but definitely probably listening to us. We weren't being quiet. We were talking, walking around. And when it knocked back, I did a whoop, and he grunted at me like a real deep, really deep guttural, like a, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he started coming to us. And the sun had set at this point, so it was getting dark quick. But by the time he got all the way to us, it was dark. And like I said, I didn't fire up the scope. And he stayed downwind of us. I noticed that. Circled all the way around, actually got in the edge of the field, and he crept up the edge of the field, I guess so he could be quiet to get closer to us and come in basically behind where I was looking with the scope, because I couldn't hear him anymore. I didn't know where it was at.
Ugh.
He grunted one more time about halfway in, but it's almost like I just heard like a quiet foot, it was just like a real slight crunch. And I mean, I actually got chills in. I knew whatever this was too close. I mean, I had my mom and my daughter with me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that rifle I've got I think it's a 900 lumen white tactical LED light mounted on the rail. And that's when I threw that on and just scanned real fast. And I hit him with a white light. And I mean, he was every bit 8 foot, 8+, shoulders about 4 feet wide. I mean, he was big.
Big boy.
Because where he was standing at, there's 2 cedar trees. They're probably about, at the time, was 10 or 12 feet tall, and they had a gap in them about the size of him. He filled that hole up.
Wow.
Because we went back 2 days later in the daytime. I actually found the footprints then. And I stood in between those 2 trees, and I've measured, with my boots on, I've measured my right finger, my middle finger, my right hand extended above my head is 7'2". And I held my hand up over my head. My daughter, she was 14 at the time. She looked at me and her eyes got big. She said, "Daddy, it was taller than that."
Yeah.
So it really freaked her out. But I haven't seen. I probably hope. I don't know. Might not ever see anything like that again. But I've been addicted to it ever since.
Oh yeah, definitely an addiction.
Yeah.
That's how I was able to walk way out into those woods like every day. I just had the fever back then.
Oh yeah.
Now I'm just. It's about a 2-mile walk straight through the woods, so it takes a little while to get out there.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I lost it for a while because I mean, you know, after 2016, we lived down there for that year. You know, we had planned on moving down here, and I hadn't done a serious investigation. You know, when we got here, it had been a good 2.5 years, and this has kind of reignited the fire. You know.
Yeah.
It feels good. Not gonna lie to you. It feels damn good.
Yeah.
I know I can always go out there, and they know when I'm out there, and they always watch me. And that's what, whenever I put the recorder out there, they'll hang around the recorder. So I know I can still go out and get recordings out there, but like anything else, any cameras or anything, they just take them down, bury them. They don't like them.
Yeah, I agree. I think they know damn well what they are.
Yeah, the recorder though. I mean, I shut all the lights off and everything. It doesn't do anything but just sit there, and they come close to it. I'm sure they're sneaking around. I can hear them throwing things at it, or I used to. I don't hear so much anymore of that.
Yeah.
Why not? Here's a suggestion. Maybe. Okay, they're making noises. You're picking it up and recording it. How about turning it back around and maybe letting them hear themselves?
Ever
do that?
Yeah, I did that on my laptop one night by accident, actually. I was in the house listening to the sounds on the laptop, and I started smelling that sulfur smell. Actually, it smelled like burnt fingernail, sulfur, and like cat crap or something.
Chicken.
And I realized it was the sounds I was doing. And I went, oh, geez. And I turned, and I haven't done that since. Anytime I play them for people, I always keep them really low. You know, I realized I was doing it too loud, and they came in. They came in close to the house. So they didn't seem to react, but they see, they were doing like a weird who at me, and it sounded like a person doing it. They were just going who, just like trying to imitate an owl, but because I was playing their owl sounds on the laptop, they totally changed it up to like a human doing it. They did that a few times to me after that. So.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I don't do the sounds back to them anymore. If I'm going to do any sounds, I do it with my mouth. But I try not to do too many sounds. I just let them know when I'm out there, and they'll give whoops and let me know where they are. And so I don't go over there. Yeah. You know, I'll go to the same spot and put the recorder there. But when I come into the area, I have a stick with me, a walking stick, and I'll wrap it on a rock like twice. And within a few minutes, I'll hear one. And then usually there's 3 of them I'll hear. But usually at least one will let me know where he is each time. So I just don't go near them.
Yeah.
So. Well. But they've never touched the recorder once I stopped trying to hide it. Yeah. Every time I tried to do something sneaky, they would prevent it from happening. So I just put it right in the open. Tell them where it is, and I leave it right in the open, and they never bothered it.
Well, that's like a little kid's game. You hide the thing, hide and seek, hide it, find it, see if they can find it.
Yeah, their intent. I don't know. I think your intent has a lot to do with it too. I don't know. I have another recording of me. After I put the recording down, I always look for mushrooms. I have no problem bending down, getting mushrooms. They've never said a thing to me. I see a footprint. I bend down to look at the footprint, and this thing whoops right behind me. He started doing a clicking thing. He was going click, 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 pop, 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 and then whoop, and it sounded like it was right behind me. And I just popped right up and said, all right, I'm out of here.
Were they rock clacks? Were they mouth pops, or you think they were rock clacks?
They were something he was doing with his mouth, but on the recorder, they sound like clicks.
Okay.
And then they turned into pops. He clicked. Okay. He was going click, 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 pop, 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 and then the whoop. And I only heard the whoop. I didn't hear the clicks or the pops until I played the recorder.
You know, I wonder if those what I think are rock clacks I'm hearing down there. I wonder if they could be.
They could be the mouth thing they do with the clicks. Yeah.
No, I have heard the rock clacks one time.
Yeah, and that's they do sound like rock clacks. So they are awful loud.
Yeah, I mean it sounded just like you took like 2 big or like pieces of pork, and it was real distinct. It wasn't quite subtle a bit.
Oh no, they definitely they do it to unnerve you, I think.
Well,
you know what? Yeah, I've noticed when I first would go out in the woods before I saw the creatures and really knew they were there. Actually, before I saw them. When I first met Will and Jeremiah, remember I was asking you guys about ground pounding?
Yes.
I used to feel boom, boom, boom in the ground up there all the time. Boom, boom, boom. Like 4 or 5 like really hard thumps, and I'd feel them in the ground. And that seemed to stop after I saw them.
Yeah, I've experienced that twice down there in my area.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like you feel it, you can hear it, but it's like you feel it more than you hear it.
Right. Yeah.
It's like somebody dropped a bulldoze on the ground.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I get them. I used to get them in like series of like 4 or 5 of them. Boom, boom, boom. And if you were anywhere up on that hill, you could probably feel it.
Yeah.
You know, because I could definitely, like you said, I could.
Kind of like a buck will pound its back leg, right? Is what you're saying, but much louder.
Right. Well, chimpanzees will thump on like the roots of trees.
Yeah.
You know, right? I guess the tree might disperse the sound better through the ground. I don't know, but they would pound on like roots of trees, the big roots. You know.
All right.
I don't know. I realized this about a couple months ago that I have not felt that ground pounding since I saw them.
Right. That might have been just one particular creature doing that. It might have been their way of saying, "Hey, look, who's that? Wait, let's do this." Might have been his nervous way of trying to connect up with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a grouse. Like a grouse is the grouse are out there right now doing their little mating thing where they thump their wings. It wasn't like that. These were serious pounds in the ground. At first, I thought it was the trucks going by about a mile away. Right. But then I could hear the trucks if it was a truck. And after a while, I realized, no, this is something hitting the ground. And I never saw it or heard it.
The 2 times I felt it, I actually felt it inside. Like, inside of my torso, felt like the percussion and vibration of it.
Right.
It's like I felt it more than I even really heard. I heard it, but I mean, I felt it more than I actually heard it.
It's like a lot of the vocals. If you'll feel them. You feel them right through your body. They shake your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a communication that they do, though, from one to another, just to let somebody know somebody's out there, or that pounding,
Very well could be.
Yeah.
Good guess.
Sorry, John, go ahead.
That's a good guess. That's what I was going to say. If it could be something, they're going to try anything. They're going to try whatever they can do.
Yeah. Right. To remain quiet too,
Yeah.
And we don't really, in all reality, we really don't know a lot about them yet.
No.
And that's the thing.
Well, you have to consult a Bigfoot expert.
We're all experts.
I know several. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
Why didn't we think of that? Thanks, buddy.
I thought of that one earlier. Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Very easy.
Well, gentlemen, I hate to do this. It's almost that time.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, Travis.
See if I can find it here. Sorry, I got to dig through my drawer. I've heard this once.
Okay.
At night, it was about 10:30 at night. We had gone back again to where we had that last sighting, and I don't know if y'all can see where y'all can see this.
It's a bird call. Yeah.
It's a little old school Audubon bird chirper.
Yeah, I got one.
We heard that night. I mean, very close to us. I'm talking like 10:30 at night. It was just like all of a sudden there was all these tiny little songbirds in one spot chirping. And like I have been in the woods my whole life. I hunt at night. I predator hunt. I have never heard that particular bird sound day or night in my life. I'm 40 years old.
That's weird.
Yeah, it was super, super odd. And at the time, I did not have my FLIR, so I really didn't have anything to see what was doing. I had night vision, but that just doesn't work as good as FLIR does. But I heard that bird. We all did. I mean, it was very obvious.
Travis, was that in the springtime by any chance?
Yeah.
It was, because I record them doing these crazy bird calls only in the springtime.
Well, we had our sighting was actually the first part of April, and this would have still been in April. That was 4 years ago, but it was in April.
Okay. All right.
But, yeah, like I say, I've never heard that particular bird call day or night.
Right. Same thing here. The one I've recorded, I've never heard it before. It's the weirdest call. It seems like 4 or 5 calls put together to me, right. But that's interesting. Was that late at night?
It was about 10:30 at night.
Okay.
Yeah, it was plenty after sunset. It was definitely night, night.
Right. Yeah, I noticed they do it here in the springtime. I record each year for like 4 years now, and each spring they do it in the spring. Right. Only in the spring.
Wow.
and then they'll change. They change up every couple months. They change their vocals up.
Yeah.
That's interesting, man.
It is, man. They have to keep one step ahead of us, you know.
They do, and they do it well.
Yes, they
do it well. I mean, shit. I told you guys about what I heard. It sounded like an alligator, baby. You know, when a baby gator calls for its mama. And this was a good 100 yards offshore. Okay, that to me sounds like an awful long ways away. You know, I said I got to go in there, and it was that sound. You know, and we don't have that many gators here. Okay, there is some, but there's not a whole lot, and that sounds a little. They usually nest right near the water, right? I mean,
they usually go nest within 25 or 30 yards of the water because the babies, as soon as they hatch, they go straight to the water and they stay in the water.
There you go. And this was coming from that same spot that we caught those freaking red eyes. They took those pictures, and it was just like going on and off, and kept going and going. As soon as I stepped foot in, I said, I gotta go check this out. She goes, don't you dare go in there. And I said, I gotta. Walked in there, walked around, no sign of any nest, nothing. And it stopped. It stopped. So it's weird. It's weird. It makes me wonder if it was, you know, trying to get me to go in there, or if it was calling for more babies or mamas.
A female gator will come to that sound. I mean, I
don't see
people hunting gators use that call to call in females.
Sure, for sure.
That's what we were talking about, Jeremiah. Yeah, about mom coming in.
Yeah.
The only other thing that would sound anything like that would be like a tree frog, I think, or something. I don't know.
And I know what you're saying, but it definitely.
Right. It's an alligator type.
Yeah, it definitely. No doubt in my mind. But.
Right.
Anyways, guys, great discussion tonight. And we do have some closing thoughts. Stu, you want to start off?
Let's have a think. Like I was saying at the start, you know, if you're researching, don't feel pressure to share anything you don't want to share.
Yeah.
You know, just go about your business, enjoy what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's unfortunate we have to keep it to ourselves, but you really have to. You know, personally, it causes extra problems.
Guys like you guys, one thing, but it was just awful ballsy for that dude. You know, I know who you're talking about, and it was awful ballsy. You know.
Yeah.
I responded by LOL. Are you crazy? Give off my location. You know, no way. It ain't gonna happen. You know.
No.
I don't. You know, it doesn't matter where they are. If they're in freaking Mongolia, I'm not gonna give away my location. You know.
No.
Yeah. There's too many of them that think they can make $1 million by killing one.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And then in the process, they're gonna get themselves killed. So yeah. But anyway,
let's say somebody does kill one and actually make it out. They will never be able to set foot in the woods again and be safe.
I agree.
They will be on the map.
Yeah.
I agree. Yep. They don't forget. That's for sure.
No. And I will add to this: people want you to prove it. You know, I mean, like you guys at work, they pick on me, call me Daryl, from that commercial. But anyway, one of them looked at me and he said, "You really believe in them?" I said, "No, I don't believe. There's believing in something and knowing something." I was like, "I know. I don't prove it to you, anybody else. I know what I saw. I know what I experienced."
That's it. When you know, you know.
Exactly.
Yep. I mean, you know. Yeah, that's good, man. Good thought. John?
I just want everyone to stay healthy. Be smart out there.
Okay.
You know, don't shoot one.
No.
Yeah, definitely not.
Don't even raise a gun, you know, unless you have to.
Yeah, I do. John?
Jeez. About everything's been said already the way I feel, honestly.
I know you got something.
Well, you know, I did make a comment on one of the posts. I said, I think that it had to do with the Sierra Sounds. Mm-hmm. I think there ought to be at least a geographical location where they could divide up the sounds, like this clan makes this sound, or this is where we heard this sound. Not the pinpoint, but maybe it comes from the Adirondacks. Maybe it comes from the Rockies someplace, or maybe that sort of thing. But don't give your locations out. And anybody that out there thinks that they're going to get locations is out of their freaking mind.
Yeah.
I studied psychology, man, in college, and some of these people that, they're pretty, like you said, pretty ballsy, pretty bold. I guess they think that the rest of us are as stupid as the people they run around with. Mm-hmm. So, but no, yeah. But other than that, man, it's like, stay safe, use your head. And right now we got this freaking virus thing, which has got us all kind of clamped down. If, I'll say this, do some research. Do some research on, like, say, the Spanish flu. It killed 50 million people. Oh, yeah. 675,000 of those were Americans. Yeah. It killed more military during the time it was here. Our military boys, it killed more of them than World War I did. And you know what? 50 million people was only 3% of the world population. 3 frickin' percent. We're not even close to that right now, and we don't want to get close to it. So use your head. Every time you get out there poking in Bigfoot crap, wash your hands. You picking mushrooms, be sure you don't lick your fingers,
It's the only way to test them.
Yeah, I know. But the residual effect on you, man, you can tell it.
No, we don't have those mushrooms growing up here. They grow down south or out on the West Coast.
I'll bring you some.
Yeah.
No,
sorry. If I had to find some, I'm sure I could.
I bet you could. You do a little gifting, I'm sure they'll bring them to you.
There you go.
Hey, right.
Just stay safe. Use your head and everything, from the virus to being out in the woods. I always carry. I always carry when I'm, I'm talking a firearm, and it's not to shoot it with. It's to protect me or whatever I feel the need to protect myself from.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's I don't know what else to say. I'm speechless. No,
you're good. So yeah, we'll continue next Sunday. Travis, you think you might want to join us again next Sunday?
Yeah. I'd like to if I can.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have you on.
I appreciate it.
Pleasure, man. It was great having you on. You had some good stuff.
Thanks, Travis. Appreciate it.
You really
nice meeting you, Travis. Very nice meeting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice meeting all of you. Yeah, really enjoyed it a lot.
Well, we'll see him again, that's for sure. And guys, be safe. You can reach any of us on our social medias, Messenger, whatever. We're open to answer any types of questions. I know everyone here would be, we're all experienced. We're open to answer any questions for anyone out there that needs, has a problem or, help.
Yeah. Do our emails or?
Yeah, throw our emails out there. You can reach me at onthetrail.jf@gmail.com. Donnie?
Is onthetrail.dg@gmail.com.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, mine is IndianaJRGJS@gmail. IndianaJRGJS@gmail.com.
What about you're on the trail?
I just found it.
Pardon me? What about now on the trail? When are you going to give one to me?
You got one set up.
No, I don't.
Okay, John's will be onthetrail.js at gmail.com.
That sounds like a winner. Just set it up for me.
Okay.
That's it. What he said. What he said.
Our people reach you if they have any questions.
Say again, Jeremiah.
How can people reach you if they have any questions, man?
That's stewhill123@hotmail.com.
All right. Well, sounds good, guys, and we will see y'all next Sunday. Thank you for joining us for another edition of the Skookum Session Roundtable.
Auf Wiedersehen.
What's that?
Auf Wiedersehen.
John, I cannot hear. I can't hear you.
Bye bye.
Yeah, we're off.
Okay.
We're
Thank
off
you.
the recording.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, we're off.
Auf Wiedersehen. Good evening. That's good often. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye.
Travis, you still on there?
Yeah, I'm still on.
Do you know anybody that puts like food out? I didn't want to bring it up too much, but do you know anybody that puts food out or anything for these creatures?
Jeremiah does.
Jeremiah did one. It's a test.
John, do you used to?
For mine, I was recording as well, right off Skype. I'm not going to use it.
Yeah, I see you're recording. You know what that is, though? It's a video recording that you have to get off of Skype.
Yeah. Okay, good. So just.
And they only hold it for so many days.
Yeah, we'll use yours.
Yeah, I'll send that to you in the mail tonight. But with that, the food thing, they always want to share. You know that sharing thing they do.
Yeah.
I just try.